the reason why nobody was killed?
There were about 7 killed.
It could have been more.
Oh yeah, they'd another half an hour to an hour, they'd have caught us all having breakfast in the mess room.
So it happened quite early in the,
Yeah.
in the morning, it was quite merciful. You can see in the background, is that one of your vehicles? Is
Yeah,
it?
that's on the photograph. I didn't know was there because I'd never seen a photograph blown up. That's my friend Gerald Green's armoured car, who now lives in Northleach in the Cotswolds.
What,
That's his car.
what was the feeling when these bombings were happening for the Palestinian people, for you as soldiers? I mean, what were you feeling while this onslaught is starting to happen? What was the general, you know?
Well, we didn't, I wouldn't use the word hate. We didn't like the people that were doing it, put it that way.
But what
And if
effect?
we'd have caught all of them, it wouldn't have been very pleasant, but put it that way.
Moving on then. Again, this is
That's just a police, and a British police constable and 2 Arab constables.
so the relationship is very good.
Oh
then.
yeah, nothing wrong with
Okay,
it.
moving on. What are we seeing here?
I think that's Bank Street,
Okay.
the lower end of it. I think, my memory might have gone a bit. I think that's the
Where
lower
would the
end.
barrel bombs be coming from in that, relative to this
Well,
picture?
further up, it's higher. It goes steeper.
Well, going up to the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And
And
now,
that's the wire fence I was on about through the middle of the road.
okay. Okay, so that's where that truck.
Dropped
came
the bomb
to,
over there. The
which is
police
here, then.
station is here.
Okay. Moving on. That looks like Bethany.
Yeah,
Old photograph.
it's very old. That's Haifa Docks. That's a Jaffa Gate. And that's me as a little boy policeman in blue.
That's amazing.
He was
isn't it?
only 18 there. Which one are you, Bill?
The one in blue.
What do you mean blue? I'm
That
colourblind.
one. The one with the big hat.
That's right.
Big head, you say, or big hat?
Big
No,
hat.
never a big head, only on 6 3/3. They're stonemasons. That's an Arab police sergeant. That's a part of Jerusalem. Yeah. That's Tiberias. Lake
That's the Lake Tiberias.
That's true.
Yeah, it's gone. Pretty much disappeared now.
Yeah.
That's just a Bedouin tent.
A Bedouin tent, so there you go.
Yeah.
So the Bedouins presumably were spread around all
Oh yeah, in all the rural areas.
And,
Can I move on?
yeah.
That's the Wailing Wall.
Now, you notice there's women here, isn't there? This is 1940, could be 48, 47, I don't know. Is that around that period?
Yeah, about that. 40s, say. Takes the 40s.
So what are we looking at?
Well, that's
We're looking
the.
at a mixture of people
A
there.
Yeah.
mixture of people, women include. Now, it seems that it's difficult for women to go there. I think what I'm trying to emphasise here is we've gone from a very relaxed, fairly, composite cultural process into this strange avenue, you know what I mean, that needs to be...
Yeah, the women can go there now. It's just
They can, that's
segregated.
it, yeah. And well, this is good. That's an advancement, because I understood that it was a problem. They had to have permission or something like that. It wasn't.
They're segregated, so men go in one side and women go in another.
Moving on.
That's Damascus Gate, another gate into Jerusalem. That's another one of the citadel in Jerusalem. That's a Wadi Washmir bridge outside that. Well,
That's
in
Jericho.
Jericho Bridge, is it?
Yeah.
Ah, sorry.
Jericho, look.
Oh, the Jericho Bridge. Sorry, into Jericho. My brain is too old.
Now, what are we seeing now?
That's Kingsway again.
And the police station, where would that be there? Because there's that, looks like that round building going to Bank Street, is
Bank
that?
in there.
Okay. So the level of sophistication here is as good as anywhere. I mean, that could be Croydon High Street. Even the lamps look a bit, Victorian. So anyway, moving on. Nobody knows. Mount of
Temptation.
Well,
You know where that is?
No.
On the side here. I think that's the Tomb of the Prophets. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, you know any of this picture, these places?
No.
No?
I've not ever like gone there, so.
It's a bit of a journey for you then.
Yeah. That was the control point at Razanakurov on the Lebanese border.
Okay. And they're the three languages, obviously, yeah?
Everything was in 3 languages.
Okay. Moving on.
That's Haifa again.
Haifa, looking down from Mount Carmel. Donkeys always get the best jobs, don't they? Moving on.
Good Samaritan.
Oh, that's...
Again, Bank Street.
That's
yeah?
bottom end of Bank Street, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
Kingsway.
is that the police station over?
No, that's that's taken from the police station. That was,
Okay.
Because there's the barrels along the road, across the road.
Okay.
Yeah, that would have been taken from the police station.
We don't know where this is, but
I think it's a German colony. That's Kingsway again. That's Haifa Docks.
and there's presumably the British Navy.
The
Yeah?
Navy ship on the outside quay, yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
Albert told me that's the name. He was there.
We have another old soldier that came. He was in even earlier, from 46, I think, to 47.
44.
And he's 92, and he came into the museum and he saw the photographs, and at this stage these photographs, when we got them from Bill, were little snapshots, you know, the earliest camera, the Brownie 1-2, even before that, so they were very small, and they've been digitised, and Bill's just amazed at the clarity, things he never knew on the photograph of now, modern technology. We were showing this Albert, who's 90 odd, showing these photographs, and he started to cry, you know. And I'm just wondering, these servicemen that have been out there, apart from the massive suffering of the Palestinians, it's the soldiers themselves that, you know, 60 years later he comes into this place and he sees something that evokes something in him that is, you know, tearing at his heart. So I suspect that a lot of these people have had a journey, an unresolved journey in the sense of, you know, their position when they were in Palestine, not knowing quite what. I mean, you did speak about that yourself, about what did you know about what was going to happen?
Well, as I say, we knew more perhaps than the army knew because we were civilians. And we were told things which they didn't tell to us. Oh, it's not a horrible thing to say the rank and file in the army. But, and we knew once we were told we were moving out in May, we knew it was going to be chaos.
Right.
And it was because 2 groups of us stayed behind after the mandate ended to make sure everything got out the docks. We were one lot was one end of Haifa and the other lot of the police was the other end of Haifa. And we saw the start of the Palestinian-Israeli war. We saw the start of it.
Yeah.
And the thing that we couldn't understand was why the Arabs never won. Because the Arabs were superior in weapons, they were superior in manpower, and they never won because of one, and I'm sorry about this, they won't talk to each other. There was an army here fighting which was Lebanese. There was a Jordanian army here fighting which was Jordanian. There was the Palestinian army here. You had the Arab Legion there. And they were all fighting individual wars. And of course the Israelis were a combined unit. They picked them off one at a time. It's a terrible thing to say, but if they'd have all got together in 48, Israel wouldn't have existed.
Interesting.
It was terrible to watch it.
Unfortunately, we're in this situation,
Yeah.
and we're in a way trying to help the Palestinians, trying to also help the Israelis to move off this impasse, you know, so we have peace for everybody in the Middle East, you know, so everybody is equal and equal opportunity. Not if you happen to be a Palestinian child or a Jewish child, it doesn't matter. Both those children need the rite of passage. You know what I mean? So that's basically what this museum's about, and what this dialogue here is about. It's about dispute resolution, really, in a sense, because war is not an option, because it just ends up look at Syria. You know, so we have to work really hard to make sure that there is a platform for reconciliation, whatever that means. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean the Syrian situation is the same as when we left in Palestine. They are fighting for a cause, but they're not fighting as a unit. In Syria, as far as I understand, there's about 3 or 4 different
It's
units.
true. It's
That's
true.
right.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
won't, for some reason, the Arab nation won't get together. They fight as an individuals. That this is my bit and that's your bit.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Bill, you're looking at it from your perspective.
Yes,
you
I know I am.
You know, and I think historians can probably, you know, tell it slightly different. Everybody has a different story. But
Yeah.
staying to the narrative, again, is this Haifa again?
Yeah.
Okay. Would this be where the bombs would be rolled down?
No.
No, that's, I think, no, I'm not sure where that is. At the corner of where it joins Kingsway.
I don't know why I'm labouring this. I don't know why, but anyway,
Yeah,
I'll give that a miss. Carry through those. Another one.
That's the River Jordan.
River
I don't
Jordan.
think so much water in there now. That's the Wailing Wall.
Wailing
again.
Wall.
That's the Stella Maris Lighthouse on top of Carmel. That's
Now,
one of
this
our
is a-
Taggart forts.
Now, how many of these forts did you have around?
Oh, goodness knows. Every area had a large one, which was like the centre, and they had a smaller ones all around, all over the rural areas of Palestine.
Moving on.
That's the back of the police headquarters,
The one that was.
blown up. Yeah. That's the Wadi Reshmir Bridge.
And that's in Haifa, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an internment camp for Jewish immigrants.
What is it?
An internment camp for Jews. And that would have been.
Latrun. I think that's in a place called Latrun, I think. That's Haifa Bay. That's Haifa. Or is it Acre? No, Haifa. That's the army. That's when they started to move out.
The army moving out
Yeah,
from
couple of
Haifa, yeah?
troops, yeah. When we started the evacuation.
So where is Ashdod in relation to.
Ashdod further along.
Oh, okay. Moving on.
That's my armoured car.
That's the same one. It's got to say, it got about that car, didn't it?
We went all over the place. We blew it up in the end.
Who did?
We did.
Why?
When we left, all this equipment was driven to a wadi. We drove it over the wadi, and when they got enough of them down there, they set fire to them and blew them up.
Is that so the.
So
No,
neither
you
side
use
could
it.
have them.
Okay. Moving on.
That's a Jewish armoured bus. So that's the way they took the kids to school and places like that, as safe as they could get them.
Moving on.
That's Jericho. Well, that's me again. That's a smaller armoured car.
There's our Bill in the middle.
You, in the middle.
And that was taken in 1992 in Tunis.
What were the circumstances of this meeting?
Well, an Arab journalist, Ismail, I can't remember his second name, he said that Arafat wanted to meet some of us, and he was very friendly with the man in the middle, which is my friend, Gerald. And so he said there are 3 of them invited. So Gerald went, I went, and another man called Doug Brain, who was a farmer on the Cotswolds. And they paid for us to fly out to Tunis. We had 4 or 5 days in Tunis with him and his council at the time, talking about different things. And and I showed Rita the big thing he gave me. Gave me a mother of pearl plaque of the Last Supper.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, there it is.
Yes, sorry.
There. That's what he gave me.
You've still got that?
Yeah,
Excellent. Again, rural life.
yeah. back in the height of that's the first one.
Okay. Is there any questions about these photographs or any questions that you want to ask Bill? Now, at this point, we would have Skyped with Gaza and the West Bank, because like Malika, she doesn't know any of these half these photos, you know. So in a way, it could be that the Palestinians have been so much under siege that they don't actually understand their own country in a sense, you know. They can't move around freely, etc. So if you have any questions to Bill while, you know, Malaka prepares her speech, that would be appreciated. And I'd like to thank Bill anyway for, you know, being here and representing his experience.
Thank you.
Yes, if you've got a question there?
Yeah, hello Bill. There was a shot of Jewish immigrants in a camp.
Yeah, Latrun.
In Latrun. Were you ever on duty at that camp, or your colleagues?
Yeah, the police were on duty there, and the prison service, of course, which is separate to the police, like it is over here.
Could you describe how you felt about being in that role, and what you think it was about at the time?
Well, it was about very simple things. They came on ships to where they shouldn't have been, and we took them off the ships, put them in the camps. Most of them stayed in the camps afterwards, and until Israel was made. Other times they were sent to Cyprus out the way. One lot was even sent back, I think, to Germany. I'm not sure about that. But I don't think we had any thoughts about it. We were doing a job. And that was it.
Another hand over. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Hey?
Hi, I was wondering, did you say that school bus was for the Jewish children?
Yeah, it's a Jewish
Well,
bus.
why do they need to be so secure buses for children? I don't
Oh,
know
well,
the relationship there. What was...
Both sides didn't worry what they were doing. It was a bus belonging to the other side, can I put it that way? So the only way they could get through safely was to armour the bus, because like schools here, they're not near where the people are.
So then, do you think the Jewish at the time didn't feel...
Oh no, the Arabs were firing on them. Oh yes, no argument about it.
Okay.
I mean, and vice versa.
Yeah.
How much blame do you think the British government, British colonial policy, had for what happened? Like you were saying, locking up Jewish immigrants and stuff. Do you think that's partly why people were trying to bomb police stations and stuff like that?
Well, there was no problem with the Palestinian Jews, we call them. The first immigrants that went there, some were there before the First World War. There was no problem with them whatsoever. The problem came when the immigrants were arriving, we'll say after the Holocaust, which is a word that keeps cropping up, from Europe. They caused majority of the trouble. Britain in the regional convention was said only 60,000 Jews a year could immigrate to Palestine. That was the original idea. Of course, after the war, the American Zionists got involved, and so they tried to move them all into Palestine.
But do you think that the British government has some responsibility for what happened?
Oh yes, to a certain amount, but then...
promises to both Arab nationalists and Zionists.
Yes, but then again, King Faisal in the 20s told Weizmann that the Jews could have Palestine. He told him this. He wrote an agreement. But the trouble was, he put on the bottom of the agreement, if the Arabs agree, which was useless. It was everybody makes it, but everybody also forgets. It's not only the British. The French were there as well. When we were mandated Palestine, they mandated Lebanon and Syria to the French. But everybody just blames the British. They never think of the French.
Another question over there? Does that answer your question?
Well, yeah, Okay, you accept that there is some responsibility that the British government has?
Oh yes, of course it was. They were trying to fight the First World War with no money. And they had to get money, and the only place you could get money from was America. So that's why they signed the Balfour Declaration. It was a matter of necessity at the time. They didn't think what was going to happen afterwards. They were trying to win the First World War.
Another question there? Any more questions?
I want to know why, after they've emptied the
Can you
land,
speak up a bit, please?
why after they emptied the land, they had to go and deny that we existed? Why they took all the belongings? Why they took all the books and literature and maps?
Who? The Israelis?
Yeah.
Well, they removed everything. They recognised nothing that was left from Palestine, only which was Jewish. Nothing else.
Why they took all, they went as far as they sent separate lorries to get rid of the whole history of everybody who lived there.
Because they were only ever interested in what they want still today, a greater Israel. They want to produce this fictitious country they had thousands of years ago.
Do you think we can get it back? At
No.
least the books. So.
Well, I know they have found our police books, they were supposed to be loaded on a ship that disappeared. And they have found them, I think, in a university only the few months ago in Jerusalem. So I expect everything is still there. It's just a matter of finding it.
Okay. One last question.
Can I ask Phil, what was your worst memories of the whole time you were over there, but also what was your best memories?
Oh, I had loads of best memories, because there were some lovely bars in Haifa. and I thought the worst memory was a busload of children going to school, Arab children, that was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And there was a big mess. I presume that was the worst. And plus, when they blew up our headquarters, there was 4 British policemen, 2 Arab policemen, and 4 dogs on sentry on that fence. Well, we just put them into sacks. Nobody knows which was which. That wasn't very pleasant. But otherwise, I must admit, I had a great time. There was nothing better than going down the Souk in Haifa and sat down drinking coffee. It was lovely.
Thank you, Phil. Okay, now, Malika is going to, I think there's some photographs as well, so 2 minutes to compose ourselves and show these photos. This is the first photo.
Hi everyone, let me know if you don't hear me, please. You don't hear me? Yeah. Oh, it's okay. As I said earlier, my name is Malaka Mohammed. I'm originally from a place to the north of Palestine called Jaffa. I've never gone to this city, and I'm not allowed to go to my original city. I'm now living in Gaza, and I'm here to pursue my education, my master's degree in global politics and international law. So, just like before I enter into my presentation, the geographical location and borders of Palestine, the historical Palestine is 27,000 kilometers. It has like, this is how it looks like. So we have from the north we have Lebanon, and then to the east we have Jordan, and then to the south we have Egypt, and then from the west we have the Middle